Daf Samach Tes. Today's daf is sponsored the Ilui Nishmas Sholem ben Yoshua. It deals with some general kolalim, general rules that are important to know. The Gemara at the end of Samach Ches Amud Beis brings a well-known statement of Rabbi Yochanan. Gozal v'lo nisyashu haba'olim Shneihem einam yecholim lahakdish. If a person stole something and the owner did not despair of getting it back, Shneihem einam yecholim lahakdish, both of them cannot consecrate this item. Zeh lefi she'einu shalo v'zeh lefi she'einu b'shuso. The thief cannot do it because it's not his, and the owner cannot do it because he's not in possession of it. However, this contradicts a well-known principle of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan holds that in general, we posek, we decide halacha according to a stam mishnah. There's a mishnah concerning kerem revoi that states, in order to prevent thieves from eating from a field of kerem revoi, this is fourth year produce that was not deconsecrated, the tznuim would surround their fields with mounds of dirt to indicate to even thieves that this is fourth year produce. Although most people would not be required to be merciful to that extent, to exert themselves to prevent a thief from sinning, the tznuim acted differently. They redeemed the fourth year produce onto coins, so the stolen merchandise would be chulin. They would say, whatever was picked from this vineyard shall be deconsecrated on these coins. However, this contradicts Rabbi Yochanan's principle that one cannot consecrate or deconsecrate something not in his possession. By the time they deconsecrated the fruits onto the coin, they were already in the possession of the thieves. The Gemara continues that even if the tznuim are represented by Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, so it is not a stam mishnah in the true sense that represents a halachic consensus. Rabbi Yochanan held another klal. Whenever the author of a mishnah is Rav Shimon Gamliel, the halacha follows his opinion with three exceptions. The Gemara therefore reconciles this contradiction by saying the deconsecration was done before the thieves acquired the produce. The Gemara says, Kol hamislaket b'makom kol hanilkat mizeh. Those that will gather it in the future, as opposed to those that already gathered the fruits. However, the Gemara is not satisfied with the solution. Concerning this case specifically, Rabbi Yochanan makes another statement that the case of the tznuin and Rabbi Dosa hold the same opinion. Rabbi Dosa holds concerning the law of leket. If one is concerned that a poor person unknowingly will take more than what they are entitled to, the owner of the field can say in the evening, Kol hanilkat yehei hefker. Apparently, even after the poor acquired their portion, he can relinquish his ownership. The Gemara suggests to resolve this contradiction, because again, we run into the problem here that according to Rabbi Yochanan, even after the acquisition of the leket, the owner can relinquish his ownership. So the Gemara suggests to reconcile this contradiction, reversing Rabbi Dosa to Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, that he can relinquish ownership only before the acquisition of the poor, but this would be a problem because then Rabbi Yehuda would have to hold the concept of Breira, retroactive clarification, meaning that although it was not clear at the time on what the owner of the field relinquished ownership, it would be retroactively clarified after the collection of the poor. If a Jew purchased from a Kuti Yayin Ben Hashmashos on Erev Shabbos, he purchased from a Kutite wine at Ben Hashmashos on Erev Shabbos, and these Kutites were suspect about not tithing. According to Rabbi Yehuda, he could not designate the tithe then and separate it after Shabbos because that would require retroactive clarification. And therefore, the same thing holds true for Rabbi Yochanan. He does not subscribe to Breira either. He holds that heirs are considered purchasers from one another and must divide their father's estate after Yovel a second time. We do not apply Breira to define each brother's share according to the initial division. And therefore we're left with the problem, how do we reconcile Rabbi Yochanan's position? Rabbi Yochanan relies on another Stam Mishnah. We have two Stams here, two Stam Mishnahs. The second Mishnah says, Ein hagone v'achar haganav mishalem tashlumei kefel. If a thief steals from another thief, he does not pay kefel. Now it's understandable he doesn't pay the first thief because the Torah says v'gunav b'beis ha'ish, only when the item is stolen from the victim. But why not to the victim himself? We must assume that his ownership is impaired without the article being in his possession. However, the question remains, why follow this stam and not the other stam? The Gemara says that the second stam is based on a pasuk, V'ish ki yakdish beiso kodesh.